And we're live. Say hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Heyo.
Well, I'm Lil. Eliza's
I'm
here.
Eliza.
And Necro forgets to introduce himself.
I said, hey.
And there's a chance you may or may not hear Eliza's roommate in the background making smart-ass comments. If Zen decides to do so. Okay, we have 3 doozy episodes here. One considered a classic, one which is pretty infamous, and the first one we'll go over, which is one of Eliza's favourites. With the Minor 49er in Mind Your Own Business. As always, we'll go over the episode, the base of the episode, then give our feelings, and then rank it 1 of 5 Scooby snacks. This episode starts with the gang travelling through a desert. I don't know if there are actually deserts around California where the first season's set, but alright. But they're lost because they let Shaggy read the map, and Shaggy had the map upside down.
He has worse map reading skills than my brother.
So they come to Gold City, where luckily there's vacancies for the night. There's a lot of vultures screaming, and they find Golden City Ranch. Was that what the hotel was called?
It was called the Gold City Ranch.
Yep.
I'm gonna double check. Yes.
Yeah. Where they meet the proprietor of the building, Big Ben. A big dude. Who I'm pretty sure just called himself that just to flex.
I mean, he's definitely not a little Ben.
And then, yeah. The gang says hi. They're introduced to the janitor, I think. We're not really told what Hank's job there was. But Hank shows them the rooms and tells them the story of a 100-year-old miner that's been haunting the town. And it's the reason the hotel hasn't got many guests. Miner 49er. Who are just...
The Mighty 49er is probably one of my favorite villains in Scooby Doo.
He's very...
That's because he's just a dude.
Yeah.
It's a dude!
He's just some guy.
It's a very basic ghost concept, but it works with old mining towns. And they do there's a lot of good shots of, him just appearing in places.
Yup.
Especially when they decide they're going to go visit the ghost town they're staying at because, well, they're trapped there for the night, so they might as well do something. And this is another case where if the villain had not tried to scare the gang away, they probably would have just left and he would have won. But Scooby-Doo villains love being extra. So the gang begin to track the gang start, and they look around the town, checking out stuff like the old Undertaker shop, or as Eliza says, a bad wrestler. The local hotel, the saloon where they find a player piano.
Which is kind of anachronistic, because player pianos didn't come into existence until the late 1800s, and then become, mass manufactured until 1890.
But it's still a
we don't know when the ghost town was abandoned.
Yeah. So, yeah.
You just know when it was open, which was in the 1840s. So there could have very well been the ghost town should have been in service until like the 1920s. Which is actually what a lot of the Western frontier towns did actually become ghost towns.
Yeah. There's a great joke moment where the gang walk past a mirror. Scooby looks in the mirror and starts going up and down until the miner appears. It's just a really fun shot.
Yeah.
We missing anything so far, Necro?
I don't think so.
And then Scooby gets chased around by a cigar, a hollow cigar, Native American sculpture.
Yep, the cigar store native was a commonplace thing of Americana up until at least the 1980s.
And inside they find a bit of paper which has random numbers and letters on it. After a bit of discussion, they decide that it's a map. Not a map, a safe code. That's on a map.
Yep.
In the hotel. And for some reason, this hotel, behind its safe is an elevator.
To be fair, there were actual buildings in the Western Frontier that would have lifts that led down into deeper parts of into mines that went under the town, so that way the workforce could easily get access to the lair from a commonplace area.
I don't know, it's just weird that it's the hotel.
Yeah,
Behind
usually
a
if
safe.
it was a saloon or something.
Yeah. And honestly, there's not much to say. It's a good episode, but the rest of the episode is typical Scooby-Doo chicanery. The gang split up. They find clues. Fred ends up in a flower and gets covered in white stuff. Scooby and Shaggy have fun jokes, and yeah. And then they get into a chase, and we get the first Scooby-Doo shot on a hallway as they go through in and out place. But instead of a corridor, in this case, it's different mine shafts they're running in and out of.
We also get a great scene of we get the first time that they do a dynamite gag. It's not the last.
Indeed, because confusing dynamite for a candle will always be funny.
Heck, they even did it in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
And then they decide to find. They get enough clues and they decide it's time to catch the ghosts by using Shaggy's ventriloquist stuff that was established in episode 1 by having him pretend to be a train. While Scooby is on a mine. You know, what are they called, the mine cart things that you push? Not mine cart. Michael, do you know the name of the thing Scooby was on?
Push car? I don't know.
I don't remember. Give me a second.
Pretty much a push. Sorry, go on.
It's called a rail car.
Yeah. Well, they put a light onto that and pretend it's a train to scare the miner into a storage shed, which then Scooby slams into, pushing him and the miner off a cliff. If this was not a cartoon, people would be dead right now.
Yay, manslaughter!
And as Scooby holds onto the miner, he pulls off the miner's boots, revealing stilts, meaning this can't be Big Ben. Well, meaning there's only one person it could be. Old Hank. Who
the guy who had the exact same clothes as the ghost. Literally, the only thing he did was put on a hat and a fake beard.
Yep. Also, Hal Smith was voiced by... And Big Ben was voiced by Hal Smith, who's been in a few episodes now, who was the original voice of Winnie the Pooh. Which is neat.
And Hank was voiced by Don Messick, who voices a lot of characters.
Yeah, it's not until an episode we're going to speak about later today where they start changing up Don Messick being all the villains. And Hank... And why did Hank do this? He found oil in the mine and wanted to scare everyone away so he can buy the land cheap and sell the oil. Which we learn, if he had just told Big Ben, the dude he worked for, hey, I found oil, Big Ben would have happily shared the profits.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have been greed for you.
Yep. And then Scooby, using the stilts from the miner... get some apples and, an end of episode joke.
Yeah.
And that is the Miner 49er. Anything on the episode you want to point out, Nicola?
Again, it's just a dude.
It's
just a guy. There's not really much else to say about him, really.
This episode is where Scooby is showing its love for the Americana, because not only does it have Shaggy hum... I know it's also because the Miner 49er is in the song, as Eliza pointed out earlier, but Shaggy hums Dick, Darling, Clementine, and it's built into the background music of this episode. Yep. But it won't be the last time.
here's the thing. I actually want to bring this up. The song Clementine. A lot of people don't know this because most people just they related to Huckleberry Hound or like other things like that because Huckleberry Hound famously sung it in one of the episodes of the Huckleberry Hound show. Actually, I think it was in more than one episode, but still, the song Clementine is about an old miner and his daughter who go out west seeking gold, but before they can find their fortune, the daughter dies, the daughter being Clementine, and the miner goes into a deep depression and works himself to death.
Which is very different to the story we're told in this episode, where the miner's entire deal is he's too greedy to die. So he's just been around for 100 years because he wants his goddamn gold.
And that's why it's one of my favorite songs. I like happy songs that are about dark things. It's a weird thing I like.
Overall, for me, this episode, I've said it before multiple times, it's just an episode that I forget exists. It's no, there's nothing bad about the episode. It's just, it is a very basic. Honestly, I think this is the most baseline Scooby-Doo episode you'll ever get.
I think the reason why I like this episode so much is because when I was a kid, one of the first VHS tapes I bought myself was a VHS tape of Scooby-Doo that had 3 episodes on it, one of which was Miner 49er. I forget what the other 2 episodes were.
But again, the comedy on this is also really good. There's a lot of good Shaggy and Scooby moments. Once again, sad to say again, as always, the person getting the short end of the stick currently is still Daphne.
Yeah. Daphne doesn't really do much in season 1.
Yeah. Velma's there to sound and do smart things. Fred's there to be the skeptic and the leader. And Shaggy and Scooby are just, the bulk of the comedy.
So what rating would you give this episode, Lil?
For me, it's a 2 out of 5 Scooby snack. Which, again, it's not bad, it's just very basic.
Necro?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say the same. I'd say about the same. Like, it's not anything particularly interesting.
And here's where I'm going to differ because for me, this is my childhood nostalgia episode. And also because it's got one of my favorite songs in it, Clementine. So I'm going to have to rate this as a 3.5 Scooby Snacks out of 5.
Again, for me, 3 is an episode I'm looking forward to watching. If I were to, just load up Scooby-Doo, 3 is an episode I'm looking forward to watching. 2 is not. It's an episode I wouldn't skip, but it's not something I wouldn't be like, this is the episode I'm sitting down to watch. If I'm hitting random and it comes on, good, nice. But I wouldn't be like, yes, I am watching this episode.
For me, this is an episode I would actually seek out to watch over and over again because I just like it that much.
Neko, would you say you're on my end of the spectrum then, where this is an episode you would seek out to watch?
Again, it's fairly basic. It's mostly just the gang running about in a mine for most of the episode.
But since we haven't talked much about this even last episode, the background art of Scooby-Doo is pretty as fuck, and it is a very pretty looking mine.
Oh yes. Also, as I joked in the episode, 1 if I land, 2 if I see, 3 if they're coming underground.
Because the gang finds lit lanterns in the mine.
Yep. 3 lit lanterns in the mine.
And I said, but the Funky Phantom isn't here yet.
That's what we should do for April Fool's Days. We should do the Scooby clones on April Fool's.
It'd be interesting.
Also, I wouldn't mind looking at like doing what one of my favorite YouTube Scooby-Topia did. Just look at the first episode of different Scooby-Doo clones.
Yeah.
He reviewed the first episode of the show The Clue Club, and it was okay.
But anyways, we've covered this episode, which means it's on to...
Okay, we're going to cover the Hun before you rant. We're going to go over the episode, and there's an elephant in the room. We're going to put the elephant... We're pushing the elephant to the side for now. Just... okay, Hun? The elephant to the side.
Yeah.
I'll be quiet.
This episode actually starts off uniquely. It's daytime. Didn't even know that was possible in the Scooby-Doo universe. And Scoob is just randomly walking around.
Without a leash.
Because, the gang trusts Scooby that much.
And also because leash laws didn't exist until the 1970s.
And Scooby would ignore them anyway. And Scooby sees a female dog and decides, to quote the kids these days, I'm going to risk her up. It doesn't go well. He grabs some flowers, stands there looking all dapper, and the dog he's crushing on walks right past him. Remember this, it'll come back later. But as the woman walks past with her dog, they walk through some foliage of trees. Because this episode takes place in the autumn, and it has the daytime shot at the beginning of this episode has a really nice autumn feel to it. With all the orange leaves on the ground and everything. Am I the only one that feels that way?
No, I love the aesthetic for the opening of this episode.
And the woman is kidnapped. And there's no... Scooby doesn't see any kind of monster. There's no typical Scooby-Doo mystery here. He just sees a dude grab a dog and run away. Just a normal fucking everyday crime. Like, there's no pretense of any kind of supernatural shit here. It's just... Woman walks... is having a nice day, gets assaulted, and her dog kidnapped.
Yeah.
Scooby then runs to the beach where we're in a time loop because they're just... Shaggy is just cooking the same hot dogs and Daphne and Freddy are doing the same dance they were doing at the Captain Cutler episode.
It's another beach party!
But
the same beach party, you make the call.
Scooby-Doo wouldn't loop assets. That'd just be silly. Where Scooby just turns on plot convenience news. Where the news reporter tells them about a rash of dog kidnappings. I think it was 3 dogs that had been kidnapped at that point.
Yep.
And the gang all being people that love dogs because, Scooby. And hearing there's a £500 reward, which... What would £500 American be today?
1 second, let me do the math on that. 1967. In the fall of 1967, so let's go September. That'd be about $5,000.
Yeah. So, for once, the gang actually has a legitimately good reason for their meddling. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I would not turn down $5,000 just to find a lost dog. Or in this case, a kidnapped dog.
Yeah. And the person offering this money is the dude whose dog, Big Red, which, interesting name considering this episode.
Big Red? Is this a Disney movie?
We're also interesting name considering his dog is a blue tick.
Yeah, the dude whose dog we're in, Buckmasters, is the one offering, so the game goes and speaks to him, who informs him that instead of paying the ransom, he would rather use his money to, catch the criminals. So this dude is a clearly upstanding, noble dude with no issues. And he says he was entering a local dog show, but now his rival, who has a Great Dane, conveniently enough given Scooby's breed, is going to win. But the rival is worried his dog is going to be kidnapped, so he now only walks at night by the police station.
Mm-hmm.
So the gang then we see the gang in the back of the mystery machine where it looks technological. It's like they have computers and shit in the back of the mystery machine in this episode.
Like they have stuff that would make US1 jealous in the back of the mystery.
Yeah, like Jesus, like the thing is, we have seen the back of the van before this point, and holy shit, it was not nearly this decked out.
I would kind of like it if they kept the van this decked out.
Same. Like, imagine how much more you could have the shots of them in the back of the van doing like crime research in each episode if they had that kept it.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot. This episode does good for showing the gang as a detective group. They're being smart. They're looking at a picture of the dog, matching it to make sure Scooby could do, and they get a tracker to put into a new collar. They give Scooby a bath, which Scooby doesn't enjoy.
Mm-hmm. That's not something I was surprised if he did enjoy it.
Yeah, and they do the plan where Shaggy putting on a trench coat and Shaggy is doing his best Ninja Turtles cosplay here, and we see Scooby on a leash, which is weird. It's just weird.
Yeah.
I think I've only seen that in like 10 episodes in all of the Scooby-Doo episodes across all the series.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. And then, they go for a walk at night, Scooby and Shaggy, and a female dog sees Scooby and crushes on him. And Scooby is a jackass. Despite a prim and proper dog hurting Scooby's heart earlier in the episode, he does the exact same thing to this little dog now.
Mm-hmm.
Who then tries to mess with him by kicking trash over him. But luckily,
Foreshadowing is a literary device.
But Shaggy catches it all because Shaggy is the goat. But in that moment, a nearby fan turns on its engine and makes a plume of smoke go everywhere. And we see some sisters cut Scooby's leash, and Scooby is kidnapped. As the title of the episode says, a decoy for dog nappers, and the decoy worked.
Mm-hmm.
Shaggy...
Too well.
Yeah, Shaggy, being Shaggy, and his friend now being kidnapped, does what Shaggy always does. Bolts after the car, and then steals a moped from his friend Chuck. Who is Chuck? I don't know, some dude that just works at the gas station Shaggy knows.
Yep, that is literally all the Scoobypedia has on him as well. He is a friend of Shaggy's that works at a gas station that Shaggy took a scooter from. That is literally all his Scoobypedia entry says.
Oh, Charles, not Chuck, my bad.
Well, Chuck is a short version of Charlie. Charles, Charlie, Chuck, it's all the same name.
And yeah, after borrowing the moped, which we never see get given back, so we'll just
Yeah.
But we assume Shaggy returned it.
To be fair, he also crashes it.
Yeah. And why does he crash it, hun?
I am going to be quiet from now on. Because I want to keep this for later.
Yeah, to
Big
be
Bro,
fair, there is a lot to rant about.
what does Shaggy... Okay, what scares Shaggy to crash the moped, Necro?
Well, you see, I am also not qualified to say what it is.
Shaggy calls it, and I'm using his words here, don't take anything I say when I'm quoting the show to mean I endorse it. He sees, I quote, the ghost of Geronimo. And he sees a silhouette of a man on a horse making stereotypical Native American sounds voiced by a white dude.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
after crashing, he waits for the gang, and we cut over to what Scooby's doing. Scooby's in a crate where we see the dog napper laying Scooby out, and we see a dude dressed up as a Native American witch doctor just hanging there, talking casually, and making it clear as day he's not a real supernatural entity, and it's just we see the first glimpse of the monster of this episode, and there's no mystery about it. It's just, no, this is just a dude.
just some guy.
It's like, if what we see later was his first appearance, it would have worked better. In the context of the episode, not in the context of what this dude is. But, yeah. He then tells the dude to put Scooby on the train tracks and push him down because they clock Scooby not as a pure breed in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, with Scooby's between this episode and last episode, with the time Scooby's spots appear and disappear at random, yeah, it's easy to tell he's not purebred. Purebred spots don't disappear.
He's not purebred because he's not made of bread.
Boo. We also ignore the fact that purebreds aren't actually natural.
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually
That's a whole thing though that we don't have to get into.
Yeah. Look, there's something we're gonna have to get into later, and this is less controversial. So yeah,
true.
They push Scooby down the train tracks on a minecart pull thing. Still don't recall what these things are called.
Again, weird about minecarts in these episodes.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Hand cars in railroad tracks are actually more common in the west of the United States than any other place in the United States, except for maybe West Virginia.
And now here's a weird thing. Scooby, using his claws, cuts a hole in the top of the crate he's trapped in and pokes his head out to call for help. But he doesn't just use the claws to, get out the crate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
dumb.
The gang who was driving towards where Scooby's collar was leading, because again he has a tracker in his collar. They drive the mystery machine up and past them. Also, we never spoke about the mystery machine properly last episode. I just remembered, and the mystery machine is one of the best designed vehicles in cartoon. You cannot tell me wrong.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's very iconic design.
Yeah,
it is one of the most iconic vehicles, which is why I so want the Transformer of the Mystery Machine that's coming out next month.
There's a what?
There's a Transformer.
Yeah, there's a Transformer of the Mystery Machine coming out next month.
Doesn't it have Fred's head in it though?
It has Fred's head, Velma's head, Daphne's head, and Shaggy's head. And you can alternate on top.
And Scooby is a box of Scooby snacks.
Yes, it's great. I want it.
But yeah, and here we see, but this moment we get to see Shaggy be genuinely a brave person as he hops from the mystery onto the handguard to save his dog. Because it doesn't matter how much of a scaredy cat Shaggy is, the moment his dog is in trouble, legitimate trouble, he will say, "Screw you, I am saving my dog."
And we see that Shaggy is like, we definitely see the beginnings of Shaggy's Ultra Instinct here when he's able to move a handcar faster than a freaking train.
Because, yes, once Shaggy gets on the handcar, they realize, oh, we're heading into a speeding train. Like, I assume this wasn't the dog napper's plan when they pushed Scooby away. They just wanted to get rid of him. But if they hadn't intervened here, Scooby would have died along with a ton of innocent people in a train.
Yeah, because that would have hit the train at the bridge, which would have caused a collision, and everyone would have fallen in that ravine.
So yeah, easily these villains would have had the highest kill count in Scooby Doo so far.
And the fact that they would have had a kill count.
Yeah, which is weird to think about in Scooby Doo. I'll be honest.
Indeed.
To be fair, it's not going to be the last time a villain has a. Oh, well, there actually will be a villain with an actual kill count much later on.
But again, possible kill count is what we're going to be marking here. These cons currently would have had the highest.
Yes.
But Shaggy is able to outpace the train. And the gang, watching this from a nearby cliff, drive back and they pull on a switch to deter Shaggy and Scooby to go one way and the train to go the other way.
Which the reaction time on Fred is really great there.
Yep.
Like, seriously. I want to know what kind of performance enhancers these kids are on. Because even these cannot move that fast.
I think the answer is Scooby Snacks. Speaking of, that's something else we didn't mention. Earlier, when they were planning their decoy thing, this is the first time this version of Shaggy has ever ate Scooby Snacks. Because to play the decoy with Scooby, he steals some Scooby Snacks and says how nice they taste, implying it's his first time tasting them. Which is interesting.
To say the least.
The gang, but because there's no way of figuring out where the bad guys are, they decide they have to follow the train tracks. And despite having the mystery machine right there, they decide to get on the
handcart
and drive backwards using the handcart, with Shaggy making train sounds for no good reason.
You know why.
I mean, I'd do the same.
Where they come across an old abandoned Native American village in the mountains.
Which probably is like Navajo village.
They use a name for this particular tribe. It was like Itani or something. I assume it's something made up.
Yeah.
And on the way back, they get shot at by an arrow as the ghost of Geronimo rides by again. Where, earlier in the episode when they asked Scooby who kidnapped him, Scooby did Native American cry. While putting fingers over his head.
Scooby and Shaggy just do not look good on this episode at all.
Nope. I have rants about this later.
When they see the Native American fig, Shaggy literally says, "No one's getting my hair," as him and Scooby put their hands over their scalp. Again, no one brought up no one brought up scalping. Again, Shaggy just said that for the love of the game. And as they walk towards the village, if this has been where we saw the witch doctor for the first time, it would have been an effective intro for the spirit. Again, ignoring thing. As he appears, speaks and warns them to go away or face the fate of the Spanish conquistadors, aka we will murder you. And given Spanish conquistadors are a thing in a future Scooby series, it's
kind of funny, really.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny. And they find that, but they're not scared off, as the gang wants to do. And they begin looking for the dogs, and they start checking around this place, And again, it gets to the normal Scooby-Doo run-the-mill stuff here. They check room to room, look for clues. Shaggy and Scooby find a kitchen and make some really nice-looking sandwiches. And while Fred and Daphne... Some bats steal Thelma's glasses and we get a my glasses joke.
With a reference to the Batusi from Batman.
Indeed.
Although we also skipped over one thing. We skipped over how they got into the village, which was Fred using a freaking harpoon launcher.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And
oh yeah, no, that completely slipped my mind.
Fred is just extra like that. Like, we know they have a ladder in the Mystery Machine. Oh wait, they didn't bring the Mystery Machine. Where the fuck?
No, I'm saying because
where the fuck did they get that from?
Wait, the harpoon launcher. Where did they get the freaking?
Wait, where the fuck did they get that at all?
I guess Fred just pulled it out of his ass.
Like, yeah, no, that just what?
Yeah.
Like
when and where? Who? How? Why?
Like, most of the time, whenever they pull this kind of shit out their ass, we assume they went to and grabbed it from the fan. Because the fan is, you know, has Toon Force logic. But here, no. They don't have an excuse.
Yeah, no, there's not even, like, there is no reason given at all.
But after launching themselves using a harpoon launcher into the thing, yeah, we also get the first successful kidnapped of danger-prone Daphne. And the first time of Daphne in bondage, which I'm sure some people will, you know. I'm just saying, I know people that had an awakening because of Daphne and Scooby-Doo.
Hmm. I mean, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
The witch doctor, who, again, the fact we saw the witch doctor just casually talking to a dude he hired to steal dogs, there is no intimidation or mystery with this dude because of that. Like, we know that none of the monsters are real. Like, you know, it's Scooby-Doo. This is long before, you know, we have any kind of semblance. But it's like, this one doesn't even try to have the illusion. It just... Yeah.
Just shit.
Yeah.
This shit just going on for because of fuck it, why not?
No, but once Scooby and Shaggy and find the dog, they free Daphne and Thelma, and they ask the dogs, "Hey, go grab the kidnapper," and the dogs just. To be fair, most of these dogs aren't intimidating, but again, Scooby-Doo is a Great Dane.
Yep.
Those guys. They're intimidating. Like, just having Scooby-Doo alone chase you. The reason they have Scooby-Doo be a coward is because if he wasn't a coward...
Scooby could be over very, very quickly.
Yeah.
To be fair, one of them is also a poodle, and poodles can be vicious.
Yeah. But, they catch the dude. Well, one of the dudes. We never found out what happened with his henchman.
Yeah, the henchman just kind of... buggers off.
And we find the villain was Buck Masters, the dude offering the monetary award. And he literally says to the gang, "Why are you interfering? Dude, you are offering a king's ransom."
Yeah, no, you can't offer that much money and then be surprised when people show up to claim it.
Like, they get to... even without the money incentive, we know the gang would have, you know, meddled anyway, because...
Yeah, dog.
It's what they... Well, even without the dog, it's just what the gang does. But with that money, it's like... And the dude's plan was kidnap his rival's dogs, magically find his dog, or his dog returns, and he wins the contest. And he didn't think anyone would question that.
Yeah. No. So it's gonna raise some questions for somebody at the very least.
Have the confidence of a middle-aged white dude. A rich middle-aged white dude.
Speaking of that, I'll get to that later.
And the police thank the gang. Um, as they explain the case, and for the end of the episode, Scooby puts a feather duster above his head and makes an Indian sound with Shaggy yelling, "Geronimo is back."
Mm-hmm.
And that is Decoy of the Dog Catcher. I am actually going to give this episode a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Ignoring what Eliza was about to rant, as just an episode, I actually think this is a good episode that showcases the gang's detective work.
The first half, maybe, but the second half.
Even the second half, they have good detective work.
Yeah, but the racism.
But the racism, as a looking at this as a episode of a TV show from 1960s as a Scooby Doo episode, I give this a 4 out of 5. However, you can't ignore the racism.
Yeah, and that's what I'm about to rant about. Okay, as we've stated before, I am of mixed ethnicity. I am part so many things, but the thing that I have the highest amount of anything is I am Native American. Not enough to be part of the tribes, but it is what I have the highest amount in me when it comes to the whole blood quantum. Which, that's an entire thing I don't want to get into right now. But you can thank the United States government and the Canadian government for why that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, anyways, because of that, I have a little bit of a problem I want to talk about when it comes to the racism here. First off, the whole scalping thing. Yeah, that was not a thing that Native Americans did. That was something that was made up that was something that the French actually did, and then got transferred over to a racist trope for Native Americans. So, Native Americans got blamed for something that the French did.
Not that surprising, but yeah, still bullshit.
Second, the fact that Shaggy just immediately resorts to calling a ghost native Geronimo is very racist. I will not comment on which doctor, because I do not know enough about Southwest natives, because I am from a northeastern tribe. So I cannot really talk about that too much. But I can say that from research I've done in the past, there are several shots in this that they show totem poles within the native village, which would not have existed there because totem poles were exclusive to pretty much northwest. So, but the thing is, you can blame a lot of this cultural misunderstanding of Native Americans on a small group of people, one of whom is the most famous of Iron Eyes Cody. And this is a rant I need to get off my chest. For those who don't know, Iron Eyes Cody was a person who pretended to be native for, I want to say about 70 years, from like the 1920s till the 19...
It's just a short amount of time, you know?
Yeah, about 70 years from until 1999. Literally almost the entirety of from 1927 until 1999, which is 72 years. Pretty much the entire cultural basis of Native Americans in film and television is based on this one Italian guy being racist about natives. And that permeated everything in the culture.
Wait, just one dude being a jackass.
Well, a few dudes.
Yeah, one guy.
Well, a few dudes doing the same con, but he's the most famous.
There's a few others that did the same con, but he's the one who did it the longest and was the first. Also, because you might know him from that old ad they used to have where they'd have the native walking on the highway and then having a tear come from his eye as like trash is thrown on the side of the highway. Yeah,
Not
that's
particularly.
Ironized Cody.
I know it.
Have you ever seen the movie Wayne's World? That was a reference to Ironized Cody. Well, technically that was in Wayne's World too, but still.
But hun. Think of the money this man can make, and clearly the years of racism is worth it.
And the problem is, even to this day, the effects of Ironized Cody are still felt in Hollywood. He has been dead for 27 years, and the racist effects of people and people like him in Hollywood still affect movies and television today. This is the legacy of one man.
Indeed, it sucks. And this will not be the last time Scooby Doo has his influence painted all over it.
Which is why, unfortunately, while I like bits of this episode, I have to give it a 1.
Indeed. Again, my 4 is a 4 ignoring the racism, but you can't ignore the racism. So 1, but...
Because I am Native, and I had to deal with this racism when I was a kid. I got called things like, well, I got called very many things when I was a kid.
I assume once we get to a particular episode of the new Scooby-Doo movies, you'll also have more to talk about.
Yeah, because I'll get to talk about a person who had to deal with some of the same things that I had to deal with. Hi there, Cher!
And Necro, what about you?
I mean,
As the most cis white dude we know, what's your take on this episode?
bad, not good. What the fuck?
I assume you're also giving it the 1 Scooby snack.
Yeah, definitely.
As I say, I gave it 2 ratings off just as a Scooby-Doo episode by itself. 4, I actually think this is a pretty good episode, minus a few hiccups. Mostly the weirdness of just having the dude be a dude. But the rest of the episode was good. But then once you bolt on the racism, no, you can't give it more than a 1.
Yeah.
This is the episode where you have to say, if you can ignore the racism, but I'm going to say, you can ignore racism?
As taking it as a part of its time, it, you know, using that old chestnut.
Which, to be fair, the reason why it was of that time at that time was because of racism.
Yep. Yeah. But the annoying part of this is none of the racism outside of the scalping joke. The annoying thing of this kind of racism is none of it comes off as malicious.
Just
well, other
purely
than calling
ignorance.
the native Geronimo and the scalping joke, yes.
But even the Geronimo thing, that doesn't come off so much as malicious as you just, you know, using a famous Native American name.
I get what you're trying to say, but for me, it hits different.
I'm not defending the racism. I'm just, you know.
Yeah.
I'm giving the reasoning, not a
Defense.
Yeah.
I understand the reasoning. I understand the reasoning very, very well.
Yeah. I know you do, but yeah, we're doing a podcast here, so you know, people may listen to this who don't understand this shit.
I could give a longer rant about all this, but I don't want to take up too much time.
And Neko has to go, and we should probably not go over an hour because Neko needs to sleep because he has to do
I mean, too far, I can go a bit longer, but yeah.
Hey, next up, we get to one of the most classic episodes. What the heck's going on, I believe the name is.
What the heck going on?
The Ghost of Elias Kingston, one of the more famous spooks of Scooby-Doo. And where the majority of the intro footage comes from. Like the Kingston Manor of this episode is in the opening of every Scooby-Doo episode. Even if you don't know the name, you know the Kingston Manor. If you've ever seen classic Scooby. And this episode starts off really damn effective. With a creepy, haunting voice beckoning someone to come. As we see a man in a semi-looking trance-like state walking in the fog. It is a creepy, haunting, for kids intro. Would you guys agree on that point?
Yes.
Yeah, it was probably one of the more creepier intros that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And also the whole vibe. But much more echoey. Yeah, much more spooky.
Then we see the gang who spot the man walking into a random house. Asking why a dude would walk into a house. Eliza, while we were watching the episode, you had the perfect answer to that question. Why could a dude just be walking into a random house?
Because he owns it!
You'd think that thing, but the gang says they're coming up north, so I assume if you're going north from California, they're probably in where? What state would that probably be in?
They're either in Northern California or Oregon.
Yeah. Well, they said they were out there for, lodging and, just, thing. So they're probably in Oregon. I assume they're playing some kind of camping, stuff.
Possibly. Although, looking by the style of the mansion, it could very well be Northern California.
Could be. But their friend, Sharon Weatherly, voiced by Daphne's voice actress. And she did actually a pretty good job. It wasn't easy to tell they had the same voice actress. Or at least I couldn't pick it up on it easily. I assume people that are more trained in vocal work probably could have, but I couldn't. Could either of you two?
Yeah.
Necro?
Say again?
The friend the gang are there to visit, Sharon. She's voiced by Daphne's voice actress, and honestly, I think she did a pretty good job, because I couldn't really tell they were the same voice actress, could you?
Only slightly, but that's because I've learned how to tell voice actors from voices.
Yeah.
So if I hear a familiar sounding voice, I go, okay, I know who that is, let me look them up.
Yeah. Where she apologizes to the gang that they've came up a terrible time because her uncle has gone missing.
Mm-hmm.
The uncle,
Stuart.
Uncle Stuart, they say what's that, the dude they saw going into a house? So they go and check out the old Kingston Manor, and that is fine. Sorry, recording a podcast.
Ryan,
Yeah.
there's also little ones next door, so keep it down.
I'm recording a podcast. Sorry. Sorry, I just got yelled at. Apparently, I was being too loud again. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
They go look for Uncle Stuart, and we get a really effective, creepy shot when they find him of just him in the shadows, lit up by lightning, looking a lot older.
And I want to talk about the voice actor for Uncle Stuart because I kind of could tell who he was from this voice actor almost immediately because I recognized his voice actor from one of my favorite childhood movies, the Transformers movie. This is the voice of Cup, John Stephenson.
He is. I was going to mention this earlier, but a lot of Scooby Doo fans know him because he voices a majority. Going forward, he is like the go-to for voicing Scooby Doo villains.
And if you're a fan of the Flintstones, you'd know him as Mr. Slate.
The only time we've had him so far is he did the groaning of the Black Knight in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
But going forward, he will be doing a lot of voice work for this show.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he's now an old man, and he says he was hypnotized to go into the Kingston Mansion where he met the ghost of Alliance Kingston, a blue man who informs the family if he is not handed the family fortune, by dawn, all of the Weatherly estate will age to dust. Which is a pretty interesting, crux for a villain. We'll get back to that. Then the gang says they're not going to let Uncle Stuart get kidnapped again, and they task Scooby to watch after him. Because dog ears. You know, you can't... Scooby's going to hear the call before anyone else. Scooby pretends he's deaf, but Fred says, knock that off. And then we cut to Scooby falling asleep within 5 minutes of being on watch.
Yeah.
Where we once again hear the creepy scream. And Uncle Stuart disappears. When Scooby wakes up, he sees Stuart is gone, runs over to a blowhorn and begins playing a army march to wake everyone up. Where we're informed Sharon has also gone missing. And there's only one place her and Uncle Stuart could have gone. So back to the Kingston Manor, where Shaggy decides, I'm going to put on rollerblades.
Which this brings up makes some of the most famous shots from the opening happen in this one moment.
Although I don't get why Shaggy thinks being less stable would mean he's like, yeah, you're faster, but you're also much less stable. But yeah, the gang then begins to look around the manor. And we get another shot from the opening where a bookcase opens and the ghost of Lion Kingston watches them. We also see Sharon tied up in a chair.
Which kind of tells us immediately that this isn't a ghost.
Indeed. Because of something he says.
What, ghost can't be in bondage?
No, but if the ghost can do as he claimed, why would he need to tie her up?
Yeah, what does a ghost need with bondage?
What does a ghost need with a dog? What does a ghost need with a starship?
Sen, you're actually on point there, because the next clue we get is Scooby runs into a pit bull.
Yep.
Who chases Scooby around for trying to steal his food. And as Sen said, if this is a real ghost, why would he need a dog? Shaggy is then given a bath.
Ghosts get lonely.
Yeah, true. Shaggy is also given a bath by the ghost using a blower to send him skating into the bath. So again, more classic Scooby-Doo comedy. But when they ask where the next clue is, Shaggy knows where it is, as he points to a hand on his shoulder where the ghost is standing behind him, in another effective creepy shot. And the ghost gives you standard warning, you know, leave, blah blah blah, be cursed. All the good ghost stuff. And a chase ensues, and they chase the ghost to a mausoleum, where to open it, they use Velma's finger dusting kit.
Which will never be seen or used again.
And they find on the first Shaggy fingers Velma. But when he realizes that was a mistake, he uses the kit on the door.
Again, phrasing.
Now it was perfectly normal phrasing. And they find fingerprints on the door. Which again, if it's a ghost,
Why?
yeah.
Ghosts don't have fingers.
In the mausoleum, they find a book of on how to use a crystal ball.
Yeah, although I want to point out one thing, that they actually call it Crystal O'Macy when it's Crystal O'Macy.
Again, it's a con artist book, so I'm not shocked it's spelled wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah, the ghost then locks them in the mausoleum. Some chicanery later, though, the gang do find their way out, and they say, while driving to their friend's home, they did notice an old Swami shop in town.
I don't even want to touch on the cultural confusion there.
Although, to that, given what we learn about this shop later on,
The fact that it's owned by con artists, yeah.
and a white dude, yeah.
A white con artist, yeah, that makes the entire cultural confusion with the Swami shop make perfect sense.
Question: why does it seem to be like okay? There seems to be another theme for these last couple episodes, which is just white dudes doing cultural appropriation.
Yeah, that's
plot
the
point.
60s for you. 1960s casual racism.
Mm-hmm.
Not much really happens out the fortune shop except for comedy. You know, they use Shaggy's ventriloquism when a person comes in asking for a fortune read.
And they also give her a red palm.
Well, she asked for a red palm. She asked for Scooby to read her palm. She said she wanted her palm read.
Yep. And her palm was red afterwards.
So that's still a great... I like that. I shouldn't find that joke as funny as I do, but I do.
Oh, I love it too.
After she leaves, they then see the ghost in the crystal ball, and a table starts chasing them. And again, just a chaseful thing. It's a fun little chase scene. But we learn the table and the crystal ball was powered by a fan. I assume a fan and a drone, with how they were controlling it.
Still doesn't make much sense.
Look, Scooby-Doo villains have high-end tech.
Yeah,
We just need to accept
I don't even want to begin to explain how the whole camera and crystal ball thing would not work in the 1960s due to the fact that wireless
So you better see the camera.
wireless transmission of signal didn't even exist until I think the 80s?
But pretty much they find a camera which recorded stuff and they were able to put it on the crystal ball. And it looked like whoever owned the Swami shop was getting ready to move away. But the gang, mostly Fred and Daphne, think they figured out the case. And the final, 5 minutes of this episode is literally just the gang effing with the ghost. Like, they had no reason to do this shit. They could have easily just gone to the police and be like, here's our evidence, go arrest the man. But no, they were like, nah, we're gonna fuck with him. We've already saved... it wasn't even to try and figure out where Cheryl was, because apparently the gang saved her off screen. And she's just there with the gang, watching them fuck with the ghost. Using the same technology he was using. I have no issue with this. It's great. It's amazing comedy. But it's just why?
Hmm.
The gang is literally doing...
It is pretty questionable.
The gang is literally... The gang is doing this literally just for the love of the game. Sorry, go on, hon.
The first wireless closed-circuit transmission camera was actually in the 1969, so 2 years after this episode.
So they kind of called it.
Yeah, okay, I was wrong. It would be
What?
viable back then, just barely.
Yeah, okay, so apparently Scooby-Doo criminals are master inventors.
Yeah, they are mastering technologies 2 years before they should exist.
If he had the money,
Which,
why did fortune?
Yeah,
grade, the answer is... Senate, he's a rich white man. Why do you think he wants more money?
Oh, fair. Eat the rich.
oh,
Eat them without sauce.
But they capture it, and it turns out it was Uncle Stewart. And the reason he captured his niece was because she saw his old man wig fall off. His plan was to get the fortune and then dunk out the state as the Swami. We assume the family fortune was some kind of jewels, then I'm guessing, given they were gonna... When they pretended to hand over the jewels, it was in a chest. I assume the family fortune was, jewels and other...
yeah, because I don't think much money would be able to fit in that tiny-ass chest.
Both.
Maybe gold bricks, yeah, maybe gold bricks.
And that is the case of the Ghost of Alliance Kingston, considered a classic by most Scooby-Doo fans.
I
Which you
enjoy
can
it.
definitely see why.
I would give it a solid 3 out of 5 Scooby Snacks.
For me, I have to give this one a 4. I really like it.
Same. I just found it like really fun. Although, I will say, is the ghost supposed to look like the creeper?
Not really.
It does look like a version of the Creeper, yeah.
Also, I spoke about this last episode, but this episode is where it's mostly one YouTuber coined this, but other Scooby-Doo fans started taking it after this. But this episode has a thing called the Kingston effect in Scooby-Doo media. The Kingston effect is where the villain has been stated to have a really cool power. In this case, a ghost that can aid you to death.
Mm-hmm.
But but the creature only uses this really awesome power on one person. So that person is no longer in the picture. Making it clear as day that one person is obviously the villain.
Either the villain or the person abducted by the villain. That happens.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the point of the Kingston effect is like, it can't be this person. The ghost kidnapped them. Oh wait.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's obviously that person because the only person it could be at that point was Uncle Stuart.
Yeah.
Fucking spoilers.
It's a common trope of mystery shows where they accidentally reveal who the killer is by doing the one thing that will make say the only person it could be is the person removed from the rest of the episode.
Yep.
Yeah. Although, I forget, whose uncle is he again?
The girls, I
Sharon.
forget her name.
Sharon.
Right.
Sharon and her dad.
Right, Sharon. Yeah, right. I forgot.
Although
I forgot whose uncle he was.
I
they never have whether Sharon's father's brother or Sharon's mother's brother.
I assume it's the dad's brother, and I assume it's a case where, he's the younger brother, therefore he didn't get the family fortune.
Probably.
But again, he's a rich white dude. We don't need much depth on why he's doing his crime.
Yeah.
And that is but as I said, this is the Ghost of Alliance Kingston. There's a reason it's considered a classic.
I do like the giant Scooby at the end.
Oh yeah, the giant Scooby is amazing.
Ooh. I'm looking up for what we're going to be doing next time, and I am looking forward to what we're doing next time, because next time is literally while I do love Mind Your Own Business, my favorite episode, Mind Your Own Business is one of my favorite episodes, but my absolute favorite episode of first series of Scooby-Doo is what we're going to be covering next time.
I also know an episode considered the worst episode of Scooby-Doo is next time.
Because next time one of the episodes is Foul Play in Funland.
Where everyone loves Funland. We also have what a lot of people consider one of the scary, it's a tie between one of our films next week or the Ghost Clown as was considered the scariest villain of this season. No, wait, also Space Kook. I forgot Space Kook's in season 1.
Space Kook is... Okay, Space Kook is terrifying.
Space is my favorite villain, simply because he is so terrifying.
I have no idea what you're on about, so we'll see.
We'll get there. But next week we have the worst... what people consider worst non-racist episode.
We have we have the Ape Man, we have Funland, and we have the...
Yeah. Never Ape with the Ape Man, which has the worst villain in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
The Ape Man being the worst villain?
Yes. Mostly because because I'm just going to spoil a bit now. This villain...
No. Well, I'll find out next week.
You mean 2 weeks? Unless you want to do next week, I will happily do next week.
We'll see how we're feeling.
I like Scooby-Doo. But yeah, thanks you all coming to the Scooby Redoo. And we have closed these files, and next week we have 3 more cases. Say goodbye,
Until
everyone.
next time. Until next time, sleuths. Scooby Dooby Doo.
Catch you later.
Night, night, all.
I don't know.